Good evening, SICW-Wrestling fans. Herb Simmons coming to you tonight on our Sunday night update. I want to apologize for our show tonight. My co-host Brian Whitaker is on a much-deserved vacation down in Florida, and it's been a crazy week, so I didn't really have time to prepare the normal show setup that we normally do, but we've got a lot to talk about tonight in a short amount of time to get it done. So just wanted to come to you and give you kind of a recap on what SICW has been doing, what we did, and what we're going to be doing over the next several months. But I want to start off by thanking a bunch of you who sent some well wishes to my better half, the spark behind the knock, my wife, who was under the weather this week, trying to get her back on her feet. She was at the show for a little while last night and ended up having to leave early, and a lot of the fans came up and they could tell she wasn't feeling well, but I really appreciate all the well wishes, and I've relayed them to her, and hopefully we can get her back on the road to the recovery, because she is the spark behind my knock that keeps me straight, you might say. So we're preparing for, hopefully, if she's feeling up to it, to make the trip to Waterloo, Iowa next weekend, to the Dan Gable and Lou Thez Museum. We try to make that trip every year to see our good friends up there. Great people like Jerry Briscoe, Barbara Goodish will make the trip, Darla Staggs, Marcy and Tony Gurria, just a host of people that show up in Waterloo, Iowa every year. It's always a great time. So right now we have it on our to-do list this week to try to get up there later on next weekend, but we'll play that by ear. But let's get into the nuts and bolts of tonight. Like I said, we got a short amount of time to try to get in everything that we need to keep you up to date on. What a great show last night in East Carondelet. I want to thank all the fans that came out. As you all know, it's extremely hot outside, but I think we got just maybe another 12 hours of the extreme heat, and then it'll start cooling down a little bit. But I appreciate everybody that came out and weathered the heat, and because the action was hot inside there, as for those of you that did show up know. Ricky Cruz, this guy is electricity. The electricity he brings to any show is just unbelievable. And last night, him and King Christopher Hargis, what a match they had, back and forth, in and outside the ring. Of course, it's just when the title is on the line, all bets are off. And Ricky Cruz had everything in the world to lose, and of course, Hargis had everything to gain in that title. Ricky Cruz ended up retaining that title. Cost him at the end, though, and we'll talk about that here shortly. But so currently, Ricky Cruz is still our SICW champion in a hard-fought battle. And I know all of you Ricky Cruz, the King of Chaos fans, were happy to hear that. Some people claimed that it showed what kind of talent King Christopher Hargis was, because there was somebody missing at ringside, and that person was Travis Cook, and we'll talk about that here momentarily. But Chris Hargis was out there by himself, and whether that had any impact on it or not, who knows. But and another great match, another former SICW champion, Flash Flanagan, came out for war. He a couple weeks ago in Belleville, Illinois, the TCO did a beat down on him, handcuffed him to the rope, busted him open, and you could tell the intensity he had last night. Normally he comes to the ring and all the fans, he goes around and greets them. Last night it was straight to the ring. It was all business, and of course he was going against the big man, Damian Cortez. And like I said, he was ready for him as he went through the ropes. The Cortez was on him, all over him like a wet cloth, but that didn't stop Flash Flanagan. And Flash kind of showed him what being in the business for a long time teaches you. and he took no prisoners, I can tell you. But then, payback, as they say, always comes around, and that's kind of what happened to Travis Cook. Travis tried to intervene, and that didn't go so well for Travis Cook. I can't say that I'm sorry about it, because as you all know, he can be that pain in everybody's backside, and Flash had been just filled up with his shenanigans, and even to the point where at the end of that match, Travis tried to pay Flash off, and Flash did take the money, and everybody thought that, oh no, here we go. It's Flash is going to turn his back on the fans, but he did a little trickery on Travis Cook. Not only did he get a few good licks on him, took his money, and then repaid him with the fireball. And I'm sure you've seen some of the video out there that some of our great fans have taken and posted up, but. I've not heard anything about Travis. Normally, after a situation like that, I get all kinds of threatening emails, but mum has been the word today from Travis Cook. So hopefully he learned his lesson. Wouldn't that be great? Travis see a better side, and him come over and do things the right way. Well, really, I'm only speaking that I don't think I'll ever see that happen. Another great match, the Canadian hero, our ambassador for SICW, really came out and showed the lawless one, Jake Law from Tennessee, the nephew of Christopher Love, who didn't make it in. Christopher Love had a change of heart, said he wanted to send his nephew in to show the fans of SICW what it was going to be like when he takes over SICW. And of course, as Jake Law, the nephew, was out there spilling the poison to the great fans of SICW, Sean Vincent couldn't take it anymore and came out and told him that, this is the business that the SICW fans is built with Herb Simmons and all the talent in the locker room. And in order to have any thoughts of coming in here, taking anything over, they were going to have to go through him first. And Jake Law gave it his best, but the Canadian hero, our ambassador for SICW, showed him what the locker room is made of here at SICW, and got the 1-2-3 on Jake Law, and sent him packing back to Tennessee. We saw the multi-state tag titles being defended. Guerrilla Warfare, Waco and Texan, had a great bout against the Night Train, Gary Jackson, and a gentleman making his SICW debut, Sid Holland. Great match back and forth, but the Guerrilla Warfare showed why they are the multi-state tag team champions, as they got the win over Jackson and Holland. Another team we've talked about each and every week that they are just made for tag team action, and that's the Professionals. And once again last night, that's why they work so well together, whether you like them. I think they've invented a lot of rules that they break, but they took on Bobby D and a young man who is in the Ace Wrestling Academy, Chris Cade, who really gave a great account of himself last night, and it shows coming to the Ace Wrestling Academy with Cowboy Bob Orton and his staff, that pays off, because he got in there last night with Bobby D against the Professionals, and I mean, it was a great match. So Chris Cade, a new student, got a future in the independent wrestling business, I can tell you. So we were proud that he was to be there to show off what he's being taught at the Ace Wrestling Academy under the leadership of Cowboy Bob Orton and Sean Vincent and Ricky Cruz, and those who are taking time to come down during the week and work with the students and showing them the right way to get into the business and the safe way to get into it. Another match we talked about last week, still scratching my head over the Ken Casa, former SICW champion, the Iron Man as we know him by. Has evidently started drinking the Kool-Aid once again of Travis Cook. Those of you there last night saw him, said there's a new Ken Casa, and we'll see that at the next show. But he took on 3G Keith Smith Jr., and boy, I'll tell you, Keith Smith Jr. from the wrestling family, his grandfather Eddie Smith, his dad Keith Smith. This man is he's got it going on, and they were outside the ring, and he was delivering some chops on the Iron Man Ken Casa, and there for a few moments I thought maybe Casa had bit off more than he could chew, but in just a matter of about 3 seconds he ended up getting the pinfall over Keith Smith Jr. and got the win. So I'm still scratching my head, like I said, over Casa. The fans enjoyed him. He's one of the guys that can go out there and wrestle and mix it up if he has to. And what he sees with the Travis Cook organization is beyond me. I don't know if it's the prestige, the money, or he definitely doesn't need the likes of a Travis Cook or being associated with Chris Hargis. Or Attila Khan. And speaking of Attila Khan, he was scheduled to take on Mecca Mercenary from Pennsylvania. Couldn't get in, had been injured earlier in the week. So Attila Khan won that match by way of forfeit. We had hoped that he would pack his bags and leave for the evening. I was at ringside most of the night. And then at the end of the Cruz and Hargis match, Attila Khan decided to come out and attack the King of Chaos from behind. And what a brutal attack. Once again, this Attila Khan, the Mongolian monster, is just a force that hasn't been stopped yet. Those of you who were in Belleville at the Belclair Fairgrounds a couple of weeks ago saw the match between him and the ECW legend Tommy Dreamer. We had hopes that that was going to be what would slow him down or put a stop to the antics of Attila Khan, but that didn't happen. We've seen him take on 2 men. We've seen him take on 3 men. And now he viciously attacks the King of Chaos, Ricky Cruz, from behind, causing Ricky to be able to barely talk. He put him in some type of chokehold, and some of the guys from the locker room came out trying to get him to break it up and couldn't. The referees couldn't do it. And there's got to be something done. And, of course, Ricky Cruz has said, yeah, I talked to him late last night. I talked to him today, checking on him. He's not asking, he's demanding. He wants a match with Attila Khan. And so I've granted that for August the 17th back in East Grondolet at the Community Center. So that main event, he says he'll put the title up on the line. I announced that earlier today, and the phone has been ringing off the hook. People wanting their reserve seats because they know that that's just not going to be a match. That is going to be an all-out war between the King of Chaos, Ricky Cruz, and the Mongolian monster, Attila Khan. You never know what's going to happen. Talking to Ricky today, his voice was still hoarse. I can tell that he is beyond mad. It was kind of like what I saw with Flash Flanagan when he was talking about the Travis Cook, how he was fed up with that. You know, these guys who's been in this business as long as a Flash Flanagan and a Ricky Cruz has, they reach a boiling point. And I think a guy like Travis Cook knows how to get their temperature up. And, of course, last night his temperature was pretty hot from the repercussions of what Flash Flanagan did with him. But I think now Attila Khan is really pushed the buttons of Ricky Cruz. And on August the 17th, back at the East Grondolet Community Center, I can tell you that we'll have all the hatches battened down and everything locked into place, because these two have met before and it wasn't pretty. It's been some time ago. But now I think Ricky Cruz is at that boiling point that says, enough is enough. It's either him or I. The title is on the line, and he's demanded it. He's not calling me up. Usually he'll say, "Hey, Herb, can I have a match with this or that?" Today it was I want the match, and he mentioned it last night, but I wanted him to cool down a little bit. But today he didn't cool down. He actually fired up more, and so that's that. And there will be a lot of other matches for August the 17th. That's our next big date back in East Carondelet. So I urge you to call 618-286-4848. Let them know that you want to get your seats reserved for August the 17th in East Carondelet. And as I said when we started tonight, I wanted to kind of let you know what SICW has been doing, what we've done, and what we're going to be doing. So after August the 17th, we're going to be going into Cahokia, Illinois. We're making a return trip there to the Holy Family Gymnasium. We're helping the Holy Family Church once again this year. We were so honored last year to help them, and more honored this year to be asked by them to come back and help them. And this is a special event on September the 7th at the Holy Family Gymnasium. All your SICW greats will be there, but also we're bringing in the WWE legend, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, will be joining us in Cahokia, Illinois. So you want to mark that date on your calendar, September the 7th in Cahokia, Illinois. It's a fundraiser for the Holy Family Church. We assisted them last year. Cowboy Bob Orton was over there with us. We had a great card, a great turnout of family and friends and just wrestling fans. Had a great time there. It's a great venue, and we're really looking forward to going back there on September the 7th. You can call 618-337-4548. That's 618-337-4548 for more information and how to get those tickets. And we'll be posting those telephone numbers up and all the contact information as we move forward over the next few weeks. And I really hope you come out and support the Holy Family Church with this fundraiser, and come out and talk with the $1 Million Man, ask him what it was like before he became the $1 Million Man, when he came to St. Louis and worked some of the greatest matches of ever with Harley Race and all the greats, Ric Flairs and all of them, right here in St. Louis on Wrestling at the Chase, Kiel Auditorium. I'm sure he'll tell you about the time he was in the tag match and Mickey Garagiola crowned him the champion. That's a fun story. I'm sure some of you have heard that before. But when you show up, just ask him, say, "Hey, what about when Mickey Garagiola crowned you the champion in a tag match against Harley Race?" And you'll get a laugh out of that. So then after September the 7th, we're back in East Carondelet on September the 21st, right there at the East Carondelet Community Center. And as we've said many, many times, the shows there in East Carondelet, the funds that are raised there help support the community center, helps keep the activities going there for what's needed to keep the center operated. So we always appreciate you coming down and supporting the matches there at the East Carondelet Community Center. I also want to give a shout out to a good friend, the memories of Elvis, Steve Davis, who once again graced us with his presence last night and sang the national anthem for us. Steve does a great job all the time, and if you ever see the marquee, The Memories of Elvis with Steve Davis, and if you've never seen it before, boy, you got to go see it, because he puts on a show next to none, and we're fortunate to have Steve here with us in East Carondelet, and we always appreciate him and his friends joining us, Sissy and Emily, and they were all in the front row last night, so we always appreciate their support. So after September the 21st, SICW is honored again to go back to the Swansea Firehouse in Swansea, Illinois. Again, this year, the St. Clair Special Emergency Services, a group of volunteer men and women who are first responders, who are highly trained, specialized in their given professions, whether it be engineering, whether it be firefighting, whether it be chemist, whatever it may be, canine groups, underwater, swiftwater rescue. We've been asked again to help them with their fundraiser, and it's going to be held on September the 28th at the Swansea Firehouse, beautiful firehouse there at 144 Huntwood Road in Swansea, Illinois. It's always great working with the men and women there at the fire department. They let us use the building for that fundraiser because they work real close with the St. Clair Special Emergency Services, just as all the first responders throughout the county and throughout several counties in the region here. And what's unique about the St. Clair Special Emergency Services is it's a volunteer organization that they're on call 24 hours a day. I get to work with them all the time in the EMA business, and it's great to know that when we have a incident takes place that we need special people for people who are highly trained, that we can call them and get them. So if any way you can come out on Saturday, September the 28th to the Swansea Firehouse, it's for a great cause for the St. Clair Special Emergency Services. I just ask that you come out and give them some support. After that, October 19th, we're back at the East Grand Lake Community Center. We're there every month with our monthly show there. That's always a great time, so mark that on your calendar, October the 19th at the East Grand Lake Community Center, 823 State Street there in East Grand Lake, Illinois. Then November the 2nd, guess where we're going? We're going back to the Swansea Firehouse. And this time, and that's why I need Brian here, he could tell me this is either our 5th or 6th year that we've assisted the Swansea Fire Department with their fundraiser right there at the firehouse. There last year, we had WWE legend J.J. Dillon. The year before, we had WWE legend Ricky Steamboat. And I can't think far back farther than that. But it's always a great place. We always have a great time there on November the 2nd. This year, J.J. Dillon is going to be returning. He was so popular last year. He's coming back, but he's not coming alone this time. On November the 2nd, J.J. Dillon, the man who managed the legendary Four Horsemen, will be there, but he's bringing the enforcer, Arn Anderson, with him. So you're going to get two legends there on November the 2nd at the Swansea Fire Department. For information and tickets on that, you can call 618-971-5409. It's 618-971-5409. And Brian can tell you more about that. And of course, as the cards get put together for all of these cards coming up, we'll be having them on our weekly update show and then our social media. But that's a big date, November the 2nd at the Swansea Firehouse. J.J. Dillon and the enforcer, Arn Anderson. And if you don't know who either one of them are, then you're not a wrestling fan, I can tell you. November 16th is the next big date back in East Grand Lake, and I'll tell you, the legends just keep coming. The Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant, has been signed to come to the East Grand Lake Community Center on Saturday, November the 16th, and the Boogie Woogie Man been in it a long, long time. I spent some time with him down in Tennessee a couple of months ago. I've talked to him several times. We finally got a date picked, and you can bet he's looking forward to coming back to the St. Louis region, and we've got a video that we've been posting and playing, and you'll hear him talk on there about how he can't wait to get back here and see all the great fans of SICW. After that, November the 23rd, once again, an honor for SICW to be asked to help the fundraiser for the Belleville Little Devils. And that's going to be held at 301 Citizens Park Drive in Belleville. Went up there and we looked at the building, and they're going to raise funds for the youth of their organization. It's our first time there. Getting a lot of good talk about that. That's on November the 23rd at the Citizens Park, 301 Citizen Park Drive in Belleville, and it's for the Belleville Little Devils. Any of you that know any families that have their children participating in their football or wrestling groups that they have, you need to come out and support this, because this is their fundraiser that we're going to be helping them raise funds on. That's November the 23rd in Belleville, Illinois. Belleville's always been great. We ran Belleville, Illinois for many, many years back in the late 70s and 80s. When we brought in the likes of our late great friend Bruiser Brody, Dick Murdoch, Crusher Blackwell, Greg Valentine, Tojo Yamamoto, Gypsy Joe. The list goes on and on when we used to run at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds on a regular basis. So Belleville's always been a good wrestling community. Our late great friend Larry Matisek lived in Belleville all his life. He was a household name in Belleville, and I think that's what made it so special for us to be there, because people would come to see Larry, and we presented Sam Muchnick with his retirement plaque there at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds. And at ringside that night, we had the English family from the English Tavern on Main Street. We had celebrities there come over to see Sam Muchnick get his retirement plaque, along with Larry Matisek. The Decent Boys was there. So Belleville's always been a home to Larry Matisek, SICW, and that's why on November the 23rd we're going to help the Little Devils organization raise some funds there at 301 Citizens Park Drive. And then to round out the year and then see where we're going from there, December the 28th, we'll do our big Christmas show we do every year. December the 28th, we'll be at the East Rondelet Community Center. And as we've been saying, I talked about it a couple weeks ago. It's my 46th year doing the wrestling business, and it's been great. It's been fun. I have met so many great fans, so many friends. I said at the show last night, talking to one of my good friends that went to school with Jerry, sitting there at ringside and just reminiscing. I talked to him today. We lost one of my dear friends I used to work with, police officer John Herndon, who passed away, and I want to send out our condolences to his family, his wife Pat. John and I worked together for many, many years. I remember the day he came out of the service, and he got hired as a policeman, went on to be working for the state police, Secretary of State. John had been ill for the last couple years. I was with him about a month ago at the doctor's office, and he passed away yesterday, and Jerry and I knew him well, and so, 46 years of doing this business, I've loved every bit of it, and I've told people that I'm going to really give some consideration over the next 5 to 6 months of how much longer I'm going to continue. My good friend Tony Costa and I met last Sunday evening. Tony is not a spring chicken either. In fact, I think Tony is 80 years old, and boy, he's like the ever-ready bunny. He keeps on ticking. But time is catching up with him also. So over the next 5 or 6 months, we're going to be doing some searching, and I've got such a great group of people in our locker room. People like Drew Ebenhouse, Dr. Drew, everybody, we call him that, Sean Vincent, Ricky Cruz, Flash Flanagan. There's not too many locker rooms around that has the years of experience that I'm fortunate to have in the SICW locker room. And I met with a bunch of them a week or so back, and just wanted to show some appreciation for what they've done for the business all these years. And organizations that they've helped raise funds for. When you can say you've went back to venues 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years in a row and helped organizations raise funds like the Swansea Fire Department, like the St. Clair Special Emergency Services, like the Village of Millstadt. Great people that I've met and worked with. It's hard to walk away from that because that need is always going to be there in the society that we live in today, and with the economy sometimes the way it appears to be. Everybody's looking to ways to offset some cost, and it's always been good that we've been able to do that. So we'll keep you posted on that as we move forward over the next several months. That you've got those dates, and those dates, our website hopefully will have it up and completed, updated this week. And all these dates will be posted on there. And I want to give a shout out to some of the sponsors that have helped me out for many years. Gray Eagle Distributing, our Anheuser-Busch people, Matt Brown, who makes our posters for us each and every month for our East Rondelet show. I can't say enough for Matt. He's always there when I need him. I send him a sample flyer that gets made up for me, and he has it printed. So when you see those posters hanging around, thanks to Matt Brown and the Gray Eagle Distributing is great. Another good family, friends of Mickey and I, the Brooks Motor Company in Columbia, Illinois. Just a great family. Charlie and his wife and his son Bobby. If you're looking for that pre-owned used car, I'm telling you, you can't go wrong by talking to Brooks Motor Company in Columbia, Illinois. Every time I've called them and said, hey, I need some help, I'm bringing in a special legend or something like that, Bobby always steps up to the plate and lends us a hand. So it's great. The other good guy that's been helping me out recently, Allstate Insurance, Al Orelt in Cahokia, Illinois, and in Belleville. If you get that new pre-owned car from Brooks Motor Company, you got to be sure you go get the insurance from Al Orelt because you don't want to get caught without any insurance. So, and from time to time, we've had other great sponsors with us. Our good friend Kevin from haversackbear.com. At all of our shows, he was there last night. So it's great to have people like that can help out from time to time, and it's just an honor. Like I said, I've met so many great individuals in this crazy thing we call wrestling, and but we're all family, and it's everybody has a passion and a love for it, and that's what my good friend Larry Matasek and even Sam Muchnick always said, that it's fun, and once you get bit by it, it's hard to let go of it. As I've told you, the week before Larry passed away, he was still talking wrestling. We were still planning wrestling. He lived it, he breathed it, and I got to believe him and my good friend Bruiser Brody are together now, watching us do this show now. And so, like I said, let's see what happens over the next 5 months or so. Check out all those dates that I've told you about tonight. And when you see one of the SICW wrestlers, be sure to thank them, because they're the ones that get out there in that squared circle and give it 110% each and every show, whether it's one night a month, whether it's 2 or 3 nights a month like we've got coming up a couple of the next few months. They're going to be busy. And thank them, because without them and without you great fans, there is no SICW, and you should all give yourself a round of applause, because like I said, without that ingredients of great locker room talent, great wrestlers, and the great fans, there is no professional wrestling. And you're hearing that from me, and I heard it from Sam Muchnick and Larry Matasek, and it's been fun, and it's something I will always cherish. I'll always be a fan, just like all of you will. But so we're right about 30 minutes, and that's what I told Brian. He didn't think I could keep it to 30 minutes, but it's right at 30 minutes show every Sunday night. We look forward to doing this, to keeping you updated on where we've been, what we're doing, and where we're going. And so until next Sunday night, have a safe week. I hope it gets a little cooler, and everybody stay safe, and we'll see you next Sunday evening.